Hey PogChamps, I'm Riley of A Body et al., and today I'm going to be your local cringe correspondent to talk about autism, plurality, and being cringes. I'm going to try not to swear in the first 30 seconds. So for those of you who don't know, autism isn't a month. April is Autism Acceptance Month. It's also called Autism Awareness Month, but at this point, I think pretty much everyone is aware of autism. So it's a bit, you know. So for this month, for the two videos, not counting our April Fool's video and our birthday video, maybe our birthday video too. We haven't like scripted or recorded that one. We're going to be talking about autism and plurality. If you're familiar with YouTube and its relationship with systems on any level, you're probably very aware of system cringe, DID cringe, faker cringe, all the cringe compilations, every cringe compilation you can think of, actually. Um, and also subreddits like DID cringe, fake disorder cringe, a lot of the word cringe. These people really need to get more creative at naming their shit. It's like generic name cringe. But like, what is cringe? What is the distilled essence of cringe? Well, my short answer would be myself, but my long answer would be that cringe generally refers to anything that people relate with SJWs, young teenagers, especially young queer people, uh, neurodivergent people, and anyone who's enjoying their life. Generally, the idea is that these people are embarrassing themselves because how dare this 14-year-old child do something a little silly on the lip syncing app? Am I right, guys? Basically, the people who make these cringe things and spend their time compiling them are very sad. A lot of people just really hate seeing other people happy. So that's a lot of it. But in terms of systems, the only ones who aren't always inherently cringe are Living in Misery 24/7, who publicizes their detailed trauma history and mental health details and has the right mental health details, and also is not under the age of 18, queer, or like has interestingly colored hair. So basically only boring people aren't cringe systems. And if you think, and this is the thing, if you think that you are immune to this shit, if you think that like you're gatekeeping or you're calling other systems cringe is protecting you, if you think the people around you who call systems cringe that you are engaging with are not also calling you cringe, I have really bad news for you. It's like a pretty common occurrence, actually, that on the faker cringe communities, someone will be posted who is very much a gatekeeper because they don't give a shit about you and they will not respect you. So, we have two choices from here. We can, one, never be cringe ever, but remember that being cringe is having fun, having dyed hair, not being miserable, and having some privacy. Or we can just be cringe and have fun with that. Because the thing is, like, the people who are calling out faker cringe, it doesn't matter what they say, they do not care about who is or isn't actually faking. They will pull anything out of their ass to call someone a faker. We recently had, what was it? I think it was a hospital put out like a presentation. They took it down-ish. They took it 50% down, where a professional in his field posted a lot of, put a lot of clips up of actual people with DID and talked about it in the most condescending way about how they were faking. And nearly everyone in that presentation was a professionally diagnosed DID system who just happened to use TikTok and talk about it online. I'm gonna link a couple videos about that, but like one of them was Pixie Locks, shout out Pixie Locks, because Pixie got a cake after having a DID diagnosis. Let them eat cake. And of course, a lot of people called Pixie cringe for that. Because a lot of people, say it with me, hate systems being happy. If you're happy with yourself, you're probably going to be seen as cringe, and that's fine. And I mean, it does suck that it's seen as cringe to not be miserable and have no boundaries, but like, I'd rather take care of myself. The measures that a lot of systems, this is where I get serious, the measures that a lot of systems will take, especially younger systems, to be protected from being considered cringe is very concerning and inappropriate. And I don't really blame them, but I do blame everyone who normalizes it. Like, for example, a lot of young systems putting their origin in their bios, especially if the origin specifies the kind of trauma they have, which is not, which is private information and is not stuff you should be telling anyone who finds your social media, just in general. A lot of systems will go into detail about their diagnostic history, about their hospitalization history to justify their diagnosis, which will not work because the people who are fake claiming you will not give a shit. They will not leave you alone just because you put your origin in your bio and you told them all that stuff. What it will do is it'll make you really unsafe, and it'll make it really easy to target you for harassment because now people know if the trauma that caused your system to form was abuse or neglect. And now they know that you have a history of suicidal ideation attempts, and now they know which of your parents was abusive, and now they know what makes your system split. Um, Now they know some of your triggers, probably, and that is not public information. Um, Pretty much the only thing that makes me cringe, like literal cringing, is seeing systems, especially young systems, putting so much personal information out there with the idea that it will protect them, because it will not, it won't. The lack of privacy, the lack of safety that is like encouraged in the young community, especially on Tumblr and Twitter and stuff like that, and a lot of discords, is really alarming. And it's mostly an issue with younger plurals because a lot of younger plurals kind of forget that things are off the internet. They forget that people you know in real life can find you online, and they forget that people who know you online can sometimes find you in real life or just cause real life harm to you. And that's something that older people who had time before the internet are generally a lot more aware of. And believe it or not, things have improved for systems in the past few years. But the risk of being put inpatient or hospitalized or losing guardianship and stuff was way higher even just a few years ago than it is right now, which means a lot of older systems who had to live with that fear and all those precautions and stuff like that, um, are aware of the need for privacy. But a lot of the community for younger people, which is centralized online and mostly run by younger people, and I should say I am younger people. Like I'm not ancient. We're turning 18 at the end of the month. We're like really into history, but we're by no means an elder. But this is what we've seen because we are younger plurals and we have been in the younger plural community, is just it's all run by very, very young people, and by very, very young people without a great concept of internet safety, and of like just compassion for others. We're going to be making a whole video on plural internet safety because it's like a whole thing. But I promise you, you will not be protected from cringe compilations because you tell people you're traumagenic. It will not happen. You will not be safe because you share your triggers, or because you don't share your triggers, honestly. But at least if you don't share your triggers, people who want to hurt you don't know them. If someone wants to put you in a cringe compilation or call you a fake, they will do it no matter what you tell them because it isn't about you. It isn't about whether you're a real system. It isn't about your diagnostic history. You can tell them whatever you like, and they'll either say that you're lying or like you're faking anyway or that you're just cringe. Um, and there's literally nothing you can do about it except try to give less of a shit and not give them more information to target you with. That's kind of it. Like, I could sit in this video probably the whole time and just talk about, like, just earnestly reach out to people making these cringe compilations and be like, hey, you're driving people to suicide, which is an actual thing that is happening. You're chasing people off platforms. That is not okay. That hurts people. It hurts my feelings. But that's not going to matter. And someone's probably going to put part of this video in a cringe compilation because they don't care. If I said it that way, if I was nice, what would have happened is I probably would have been put on fake disorder cringe. And this way, I'll probably be put in a cringe compilation. Or maybe fake disorder cringe, or whatever the fuck that subreddit's called now. It's a lot easier said than done to just say, don't give a shit. But a lot of practicing not giving a shit is not giving shit to people. A lot of it starts with not giving people your time, not giving people private details about yourself, not giving people your energy. The more you do not engage with these people and the more you do not build your online presence around trying to make them respect you, because again, they will not, the less you will care and the less you will have to care. I mean, I do love to engage with those people, usually by telling them I fucked their mom. But like, debating will not work. And honestly, I wouldn't debate anyone you don't like know personally and know they're a good person. That's like my thing. I think another element, after my whole safety spiel, another element of why systems are considered cringe is a disproportionate amount of plurals, especially who are online and open online, are autistic. And Crow's video is going to touch a bit on why that is, but like one of the main reasons is also that autistic people do not care that much about social norms. Like, we might emotionally like care about conforming, but our brains don't really register them as that important. Our brains don't register them as real and solid. And being a singlet is like a social norm. We don't really feel like holistic social norms fit us because they don't. And a lot of that can manifest as not feeling like norms of singlethood fit us. Singlethood being not being plural if you're new to the channel. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't start with this video because it's a bit late now to say that. Like, another huge element, as it's always been with cringe culture, because cringe culture has always primarily targeted people with autism and autism symptoms, whether people knew it or not. Like, you'll notice a lot of furries, a lot of trans trenders, a lot of bronies are on the autism spectrum, and that's not a secret. A lot of SJWs who don't know when to shut up are autistic because autistic people don't shut up. That's affectionate. I'm saying that like as a good thing, but like people will often say it as a bad thing too. And, you know, and one also thing that happens with a lot of cringier systems, who again tend to be autistic, is they will tend to have a lot more fictives, often from the same source, because autistic systems that form special interests very often will interject a lot about that special interest. And a lot of people's special interests is Minecraft or like a YouTuber or an anime. I don't watch anime. Pokemon definitely. And then there's also again the youngness factor and the fact that a lot of autistic people, for better or for worse, have not yet learned what people will be mean about and to what level they're willing to be. A lot of people, especially autistic young people, will, make public videos or public posts without an awareness of how likely it is to be received as cringy and targeted. And that's not their fault, but it does mean a lot of the time people will be unpleasantly surprised. It's no one's fault if they're targeted, obviously. And I'm not saying stop doing cringe shit. I mean, look at me. This is my hoodie. It says cringe and free on the back. It's got silly bands on the arm. Like, obviously, don't stop being cringe. But because a lot of plurals are young autistic people who are not aware that something will be considered cringe, that something can get outside of their personal sphere, they're more likely to be targeted because it's easy to make fun of autistic people if you're a terrible person. The people who will be targeted the most are always going to be the people who are autistic, who are visibly or openly queer, and who have weird interests. Also, who aren't white. I mean, we skip over the not white thing a lot, but yeah, we have definitely, like, even us personally, we're often white passing depending on who's fronting, actually. Like, people always see me as white, but Crow is a bit different. But when people see the difference between us, the way we're talked about and treated is very different. You can see our racism and plurality video. I want to say it's going to be in that corner if you want to hear about it. And that does play a part. I didn't want to go like on a rant about racism because we're already doing like homophobia, transphobia, cringe culture, and like anti-autism racism. Anti-autism racism. I mean, maybe anti-autistic racism, that's also a thing, but no, anti-autistic ableism. But yeah, there's a lot going into this. There's a lot going into cringe culture. I do have to humbly ask that if you cut up any part of this video to put in a cringe compilation, that you include this part where I say I fucked your mom. I don't know if Crow's gonna leave that in. Yeah. Be cringe, be free, be safe, mostly. But definitely don't stop being cringe because you'll be miserable and no one will care. Um, I'm not known for my tact, okay? If you want a space to be cringe and free, you can join our Discord. The link will be down below. You can check out our websites, also linked below. Um, follow? No, subscribe. I don't know. Tap the subscribe button with your nose. And please comment. Comment if you have anything to say. If you watched till the end of the video, congratulations, you're here now. Since we're done, before we go, I made this. Okay, bye.